All right. What else we got in news? Hopefully, no bad news about formerly great video game companies.
Looks like this Twitter account is still going strong. What happened?
Well, I mean, oh, they did it for a year and now they're done.
Oh. Okay. Well,
the Daily Dunkachino that's like the credits for everyone. It was like 8 parts long. It was ridiculous.
yeah. So there's just been I mean, it's all part 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the news from last week. But you know, the short slide over it is one. I believe the same department investigating Blizzard is also letting Riot know that they're on notice because they're investigating them too.
Oh, yay! Baby Blizzard strikes again!
So, you know, they're not just because Actiblizzard's in the hot seat doesn't mean that Riot's in the clear, because they've got some investigations that are midway. I guess they're not at a point where they're willing to fully, you know, explain like what they're investigating and such, but they have announced that they are looking into Riot Games.
I have a sneaking suspicion they may be investigating Riot employees that are viewed as being photographed with a giant fucking framed photo of Bill Cosby in the Cosby Suite.
Mayhaps.
May possible.
Yeah. And then there's
They didn't even go back and delete those tweets. What the fuck are they doing?
Well, I believe the explanation given was because of his ugly sweaters, right?
Oh yeah, no, we all just thought it was really funny.
Yeah. When was
they
that?
Had like a week to delete that shit.
When was the Hannibal Buress bit? That's the, you know, because it was definitely known. The Cosby accusations were known before that, and his bit was what shoved it into the spotlight. But it had been a thing. It had been a low murmur for years prior, which is why that bit landed to begin
was
with.
2014, and then this Cosby Suite thing was the end of 2013. But it was known at the time; it just wasn't blown up.
Yeah, no. Again, that's why the bit worked, right? Because it had been something that people were talking about.
And and they're going for like, oh man, it's about sweaters. We didn't even know about that shit until later, even though we posted screenshots of our group DMs of us acting like scumbags. Oh man.
Now, to date, as far as you know, Buscemi's in the clear, right?
As far as we know.
Okay.
I actually, I'm friends with somebody who knows Steve personally, and says he's like a really great guy and is like a class act.
Seems cool. So the other bit
that would be awkward, huh?
Yeah. It's Brett hitched at this point.
Stay cool, Buscemi.
You are following.
Don't taint many years of my stream, please.
You're following him wherever he goes.
No,
Well, anyway, then there was the part where Bobby Kotick came out and went, "Hey, yeah, we understand why all of you are so upset, my employees, and our response was bad. We missed the mark. So that was just the team we had hired. The legal team was not doing. They didn't respond in the best way. So instead, we're going to be hiring Wilmer Hale, and they'll be handling the response from now on. And Wilmer Hale is the company that Amazon uses for union busting. So they're currently taking control of the situation. And yeah, seems like you're gonna keep digging. I mean, the only way for him and them to like like no matter what you say and do at this point, anything that is not a absolute cleansing of the entire sea level and beyond is pretty much no one's gonna give a fuck.
So it's really funny because right before they did the strike / walkout, they were interviewed by a bunch of different sources and were said to say, we have no interest in forming a union. We just want management to fucking stop being a bunch of rapers and take these things seriously. And then they did the all hands call in which they said, hey, everybody, don't talk to the press or the police. We're just going to handle this internally. Talk to your HR manager. And the general response was like, but you didn't do anything like that. Why would you do it this time? So in response to a group of people who go, can you just change this stuff? We don't want a union. The response was, oh shit, they might form a fucking union. Oh shit. Fuck. Oh no.
Call in the
Probably
busters.
form a fucking union.
Call in the busters.
And then we get my favorite part, which is some former employees posting like, hey, did you know that a bunch of American political figures that used to work for the White House and were deeply entrenched in the legal discussions that waterboarding and tasing the nuts out of a naked guy is totally not torture, bro, for real, are now running these exact departments over at Blizzard right now and are directly responsible for this?
I'm pretty sure that was in the first week of news, was that they had former Bush administration people on the legal team.
Yeah, there was more clarification on like who was there and like what lawyers and whatnot.
So that's a thing. And then
the chief compliance officer posts on her Twitter an article saying the problem with whistleblowing and how whistleblowing is actually bad for justice, and then blocks any Blizzard employee that tried to interact with her over it.
Pretty wild.
Maybe illegal? I don't know. Like, maybe, like, I don't know. Like, it's...
Yeah. No, like, I think Schreier was saying, like, I've seen a lot of, like he made a tweet about, like, blocking and people that do that, but just, like, when a C-level executive is blocking their own employees, that's a fucking unprecedented response.
Schreier's post was, I block a lot of people online for my mental health, but this is crazy. Something that I can attest to, as I am currently blocked by Jason Schreier for making fun of him in a Mr. Fields post that didn't have him added, so he name searched himself and blocked me preemptively, even though I've never spoken to him on Twitter.
Well, and then tangentially, where was that? I don't want to get the detail wrong, but my old stomping ground, Squeenix, was also putting out some messaging about, like, hey guys, you know, a lot of stuff going on in the news. Here, our policy is, if you see something, say something. And they have a whistleblowing tip line, but
don't call that shit.
But the whistleblowing tip line is being run by Navex Global, which is another union busting firm used by Amazon. So it's like you can probably get whatever issues. You can probably, you know, if you report them, sure, it might go through, it might not go through, who knows, but the core function that this group serves is to ensure that people don't get together and decide to make union positive actions. And then there's actually, like, screenshots of their website where it's like how to detect union awareness and, like, how to detect union building sentiment from, like, you know, your employees, and when it starts to bubble up, what to do about it. So it's, like, again, very telling that step 1 and 2 for a lot of these places is call in the people that will stop the unions from happening and tell them your complaints, and then we'll get to the bottom of it for sure.
Hey,
Totes.
boss, it'd be really nice if I could come to work and feel like I'm not in danger of being raped. Bust the unions! The unions! Like, what the fuck is wrong with you fucking devil people? Like, what the actual fuck?
We just need to wait for the inside message, the corporate email from Bobby Kotick that accidentally refers to the employees as proletariats.
Oh, man.
Like, and accidentally refers to game dev as the means of production. Yeah, well, anyway, it's kind of, but it shows you what it shows you where the mentality is in terms of self-defense, right? What shields have to go up? What's most important when these things start to happen is preempting any ideas that follow through, because to the employee who is like, yeah, this happened to me, or this happened to someone I knew, or this was something that like clearly happened in front of a bunch of us and we reported it at a party or whatever, and things didn't go anywhere. There's a number of steps that you have to get to get to the point where you're like, oh, we can protect ourselves from this with a union. And that's what I brought up at the end of the discussion last time. Yeah. But it's like, here it's just like step fucking one, look past whatever the complaint is to what is on the horizon in the distance. And that's what you start hunkering down for immediately, Yeah.
You know what's a studio that's unionized in game dev? Is DICE.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Swedish company. They got a union. And for all the shit you hear about EA, I've never heard anyone talking about how EA fucked DICE over.
Huh.
Probably because they got a fucking union.
Interesting.
You know who EA fucked over? Every company that ever worked for them.
I'm surprised that, like, EA looked past that and worked with them. That's interesting.
I believe that would probably be explained. If you looked back, they were probably unionized when they were bought for Battlefield. I bet that's what happened.
Okay, so there's working examples. I like Mirror's Edge.
Oh man, DICE video game company. Because when did they unionize? The company was founded in '92 and was bought by EA in 2006.
But it doesn't say when.
So, yeah. So as long as they were fucking unionized prior to 2006, they had 14 years to unionize. In fact, I cannot find the date.
But yeah, I think that's the gist of the updates we got this week. Shit will continue
was the
to be
breastfeeding room last week?
No.
Okay, cool. So more Blizzard information. They had a breastfeeding room with no locks on it that people would come in there and just stare at women breastfeeding their babies.
And they had to be yelled at to be told to get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here. I remember, it's funny, there's all this shit going around, but that's the one that I heard that it was like, oh wow, no, that's how you knew. Everyone at the top heard about it and literally chose to delete the email because that gets to happen once before locks are put on the doors. Right?
Yeah, you would
hear
think.
that literally once and you go, oh shit, spend $300 to get a guy down there to put fucking locks on the doors so that this doesn't happen. What the fuck is, right? But they went F.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Yeah, like, it's like, is that like you like sticking your head in, or you just literally just standing there with your arms crossed?
It was described as walking in and standing there staring until being screamed at to get out. And that was a known problem.
So yeah, that.
Oh, there was also the lady that couldn't get time off approved for her prenatal appointments due to her pregnancy, and the doctor's like, every company in this country would give you time off to get your ultrasounds and your babies checked, and she's like, oh fuck, well, what if I schedule all my appointments for the next 9 months? And then her supervisor tells her, we can't schedule time off 9 months in advance. You're just going to have to ask for it when it comes up. But you deny all my paid time off.
Was that the one where there was a line like she might spend time away being a mom and like love that too much or something like that? There's a quote.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Oh! And the bathroom toilet cam in Activision 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
I mean, like,
can't even keep up with it. Can't even keep up with it.
Well, and you know, when it comes to shit like this, when it rains, it pours, right? Like, this is the nature of it. Is like, it starts moving, and then everyone's like, "Oh man, yo, I got some shit. Did you know that?" And then it just tsunamis. You know? Yeah, no. Again, the idea of there being anything beyond a one and done with any of these types of things, and that people don't get let go for it, and then you kind of have to now pretend that, like, yeah, we didn't know about any of that. Totally. You know? Like, all right.
Oh, Medson made more statements about how he didn't notice. And everyone, like, shut up, bro.
I mean, at what point does it become better to just say, like, I'm a bad employee and I don't read my emails ever? I literally...
Hey, you know what time that is? That time was 3 weeks ago.
By the way, I suck at my job, and I literally do not read emails. Everyone who talks to me has to come talk to me in person.
Listen,
read nothing.
dude, I'll tell you what. I was the worst manager ever. I ignored everyone, and I didn't even hear them. I'm basically deaf. I paid a doctor to tell you guys that I'm actually deaf. I've been faking hearing. I'm gonna move away to the ocean. If you want to contact me, please find me in the ocean. It's an island. I don't know the name of it. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye.
What's the email?
Blizzard? I don't know. It doesn't seem that cold. Excuse me. I seem to have left the oven on in my house on the ocean.
So yeah. That. Anything else before we get some other fucking shit?
I was able to tell from a photo of the Cosby Suite that one of the guys there is like Riot's head of development, Greg Street. And I was initially hesitant of posting like, hey, is that fucking Greg Street? Until I was hit with a tweet not 1 minute later that was him going, the Cosby Suite must always exist, from 2013. As well as a tweet from him holding up the framed photo of Cosby in the hotel lobby or on the BlizzCon floor or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about allegedly at all. Look at this stupid motherfucker.
I mean, like, do we just have to wait for the shot of, like, the arm holding the photo, but the hands are busy holding the glass with the roofie?
Yeah.
What more do you... Yeah. All right. Well, look. That's pretty wild. There must always be a Cosby Suite. That's the quote.
Yep.
That's fucking.
So I think the craziest thing about all that is that Greg Street, his literal last act as an employee of Blizzard before going to Riot was appearing at that BlizzCon. He literally left that November to go work for Riot. And in the earlier Blizzard story, in which a woman at that BlizzCon asked a team of developers, hey, can we get female armor that's not out of the Victoria's Secret catalog? The response was them laughing and like going like, what catalog do you want us to use? It was him. That was his last act as a Blizzard employee. And then he went to Riot. And if you look up, this is my favorite part. If you look up the phrase Greg Street Riot Games, an article comes up that he is the person quoted in the 2018 story of Riot being a sexist shithole, going, we're working very hard to discover who at this company has been behind these things, and we're going to really double down to be working on improving our company culture. It was him quoted on that story. Who could have done this? Who could it have been the sexist misogyny man? Who could it have been?
The Cosby Suite.
Who shot Hannibal?
The Cosby Suite must win.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway.
So yeah, you asked like, oh, that's it, huh? No, there's gonna be more this week too.
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be a rolling fucking 7-course meal. And hopefully at the end the dessert is unions.
I forgot. There was one more piece of Blizzard news. And it's not about this, but it does show the company culture to a perfect T. WoW Classic was marketed on the idea that it would be the classic experience and there would be no paid boosts and there would be no cash shop, right? Burning Crusade Classic has been announced for sale. And if you buy Burning Crusade Classic, you get a paid boost and a cash shop mount that was never available in Classic WoW. So the player base has taken to using the spit emote on anyone they see with these mounts. Even going so far as to write an add-on that auto-spits on anyone riding these mounts through a major area. Which means that if you bought Burning Crusade Deluxe and are using your fancy mount and you ride through a populated area, spits will just flow from goodbye, Woolie. Goodbye. Spits will just rain from the heavens upon you from the player base. And Blizzard's response to this harassment of their cash shop people was to ban the use of the spit emote against other players.
Of course.
But do you know what's not banned in WoW general chat?
What?
What do you think, Woolie? That's right. Your favorite word, the NPass, has been freely typable in WoW Classic chat the whole time. But this spit emote has gotta go because it's on our paying customers.
There's no censorship on the chat?
No.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, when you take away when you take away the BM, people will find a way. You can't.
Blizzard would rather have you dropping N-bombs than use an in-game emote.
See, I was like waiting to hear like what creative ingenuity they would like circumvent, what they'd circumvent by doing something that was clever and like 3 layers deep, and it's just like
man,
classic.
Right there.
Classic is classic is classic. As classic as it gets.